and go dancing in the rain. And welcome back to another episode of Dadbod to Dilf. Hello, Daddy-O's. It is great to see me, because I can't see you. I can barely see me. Look at these. It's the thing about transitions, all right? I was talking to my buddy Sean, and he's like, yeah, they transition fast to dark. But man, do they take their time getting back to light, all right? I'm not a bat. Not a dolphin. I don't have echocardiogram or whatever you call that. And so, I'm just out here trying to survive. Today, though, and I know I'm wearing the same sweatshirt, so you might think it's the same day. Well, it's not. It's absolutely not. Got myself a zero sugar monster to fuel this bike ride I'm going to take today, because guess what came in the mail? Okay, Ultra Fiesta Mango. The bike for the Peloton, so that these juicy cakes don't get dehydrated. You know what I'm saying? They ain't crumbling, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to do this Peloton ride, and then afterwards I'm going to sit down. I'm going to talk about food addiction and what has gotten me to this point and my struggle with mental health and depression. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And I figure that the problem that people have is they go from being addicted to food to addicted to exercise and diet, the feeling of being in control. And then once they get their desired result, they give it up and get addicted to food again. So really it's about what's up here that's the most important. But all right, let me get home, get some work done, and then I'll see you guys on the bike. It's time for some cardio. I'm on my lunch break, so let's head to the cardio room. The beauty of living in such a fancy place is that your cardio room is also your playroom. So if I decide I need a stuffy for comfort or I need to do some nails, then I'm set. I'm good to go. So oh shit. I don't have the shoes. And go dancing in the rain. Like a bullet to the break of all. Oh. Workout was great. I weighed out my steak. Slapped a little butter in this pan. Got 6 ounces of filet mignon. And I've already tracked all my macros. So with my steak and my butter and my killer protein shake, I'm going to be about 700 calories to start my day. 710 if you count my sugar-free monster. Nice and plain and simple, nice and basic. Kinder's The Blend. But I like a lot of seasoning, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with plenty. That's the beauty of eating low carb, low cal, is things can still taste friggin' delicious. All right, we're going to let that cook, and let's blend up some protein. I'm a nervous wreck, so I bite my fingernails, so it's hard for me to get these off. I'm not going to use my mouth. Not going to use it. Not going to use it. Figured it out. 240 milliliters is the first part of our shake here. Oh, 243. Somebody call the police. I just bought some light ranch as well, which if I'm being honest, I don't like, but I add sriracha to everything I add ranch to, so that's going to be just fine. All right, 1 scoop. That's the beauty too, is that it really doesn't take that long to make delicious food. So yeah, I could even order an unwich or a prepackaged meal, but I'm about to have a filet and a delicious protein shake. It's gonna take me about 10 minutes total. All right, oh, look at that grab. Whoop, whoop. All right, it's plugged in. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Delicious. I almost died of smoke inhalation. Ooh! Because that butter burns. That is the thing about butter. But look at that crust. I had to flip it. I didn't have time to wait. I've opened a window or two. Can you see me? I'm in here. But I gotta let it cook. So I'll meet you at the table. Okay, let's chat. Cheers. Banana. Protein. Ooh, check that steak out. Yum. Perfect crisp. Yeah, I had to crack some windows because it was getting a little smoky in here, and not of the fun variety. I mean, that's for sure. Okay. Well, I talked about it earlier. I wanted to sit down and just touch on a few things. You know, I grew up a big guy. My dad was a big guy. Always athletic, right? I always got, hey, this guy's really fast for a fat guy. This guy's he can jump super high for a big guy. That's how I got into MMA back in the day. I had a cage fight because one of my good friends saw me crouch down and jump back up at 330 pounds. And he's like, guys your size shouldn't be able to do that. Even now, I see people on the internet who are in these weight loss journeys who weigh about as much as I do and they're bigger than I am. Which doesn't make it any easier. For me, I feel like it sometimes can make it harder because I have a base of fitness, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about food addiction. I grew up a big guy, my dad was big, and we have always coped with food in all types of ways. We celebrated with food, we mourned with food, everything revolved around our next meal, and it always has. And when I was younger, it was fine because I grew up on a farm. I was baling hay, I was shoveling stalls, moving wheelbarrows. I raised pigs for the fair. I played football. I mean, all these things. I was so active that I could shovel this food into my mouth. And although I was big, it never got out of control. And once I got out of high school and then out of college, and as I got older, it started to catch up with me because now when I was sad and I would eat an entire Domino's pizza, I couldn't burn those calories off. Not as easy, at least. And that's when life got hard. You know, like I said, I've been up and down over the years. I've had these struggles. And I've always dealt with a little bit of depression. I am not diagnosed, but, you know, I've always felt like I have a little ADHD. I'm so hyperactive. I go, and then I crash. And I have no social battery. And so when I would crash, all I want to do is sit down in my garage, spark up some herbal remedy, and DoorDash Burger King, you know. And at my worst, I mean, there was times where I'd pick up Wendy's on the way home, go home, spend some time, dial up some Uber Eats, hit up Burger King for a Whopper, a chicken sandwich, a chicken fry, and a milkshake. I was eating 8 to 12, maybe sometimes 15,000 calories a day, depending. And you think it's going to make you feel better, right? And it does while you're chewing. And then when you finish and you are looking at the garbage and you're so full that you could explode, which is the comfort you're looking for. It's that warm hug of feeling full and satiated and safe. And for me, you know, growing up with, my parents were divorced. When I was with my dad, man, we would eat beef sandwiches and finish them off with little Susie Q's or whatever, the little Debbie Swiss rolls. I'd be so full and we'd be sitting around watching TV and like that was life, that was happiness. So you chase that. But it's not. And then you get into this delusion. And my dad had weight loss surgery when I was 9 because he thought in his heart that if he was skinny, he'd be happy. All of his mental health issues would be gone. And they just weren't. He lost, I don't know, 250 pounds, got down to like 185. And he felt good, and it solved some problems for him, but it didn't cure him of his depression. And I watched him self-destruct for years. And then in 2019, COVID happens, and we're all decompressing from that. And then in 2021, my dad passed away. Oh, it's hard to talk about this. My dad passed away, and you know, him and I were best friends. Of course, my mom and I are best friends. And we were close, but losing him really hurt. And I coped with food. All I did was puff the magic dragon and eat all day. On Saturdays, when my son would go back to his mom's house, I would sit in my garage from 4 p.m. until midnight, just, you know, surfing my phone and eating. And maybe it helped me in the moment, but in the long run, this is what happened. So now I don't do that anymore. I try to keep my eating in check, but I know when I lose this weight, that's not the end of it. You can't lose weight and all of a sudden you're happy. You have to go to therapy. You have to make conscious decisions to set yourself up so that you can still live with the person in here even after you've lost all the weight. They're not made of fat up here. You know what I'm saying? That's real. Your self-talk, your depression, your anxiety, your sadness. You have to be able to address it in real time. So don't think losing weight heals all that. And I'm still going to lose the weight, but I got to work on healing that as well. So, oh my God, I almost forgot. The steak is delicious. Mmm.